Good evening, my name is Karen Izzy Gallagher. I'm with the League of Women Voters of Tuscarawas County. We are here for our first of two Meet the Candidate nights that we are offering here in Tuscarawas County. The second one will be at the First Presbyterian Church in New Philadelphia on East High Avenue. It will be on October 1st from 6 to 7 p.m. So please join us for that Meet the Candidates Night, October 1st, coming up next week at First Presbyterian Church. But tonight's is here in Yorksville at the Elks Lodge, and we have several candidates that joined us for the Meet the Candidates Night. We open this Meet the Candidates Night tonight and next week up to every candidate that was running for office here in Tuscarawas County, or not only local, but also state offices. Tonight we have four candidates that decided to join us tonight, and so therefore we don't have a public forum for them to be able to address and introduce themselves to and share why they've chosen to run for this office and share a little bit about themselves, because it's all about that one-on-one with the community. So instead of having that opportunity, we're going to do it via social media. So we're going to start with Kent Watson. Kent is going to tell you why what office he's running for, why he's decided to run for that office, and a little bit about himself and his family. Kent?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you can just sit
First
right
of
there.
all, I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters for inviting all of the candidates of Tuscarawas County to come and speak. My name is Kent Watson. I am running for Tuscarawas County Commissioner. And first of all, I'd like to say that I am born and raised in Tuscarawas County and very proud of that. I've been married to my wife, Susan, for 49 years. And we have two adult sons, Ben, who is a police officer, and I have another son, Sam, who is in food service and also in the arts. And I also have a little 5.5-year-old granddaughter who, of course, knows everything and is just so special to my wife and I. Faith is very important to my wife and I. We're members of the Otterbein United Methodist Church. My wife is a life member, and I've been a member for 50 years. We are very, very active in our church. We volunteer. We help with all the administrative offices and things like that. So faith has always been very important. In my family, our boys were raised in the Methodist Church, and we will continue to do that. I believe in giving back to the community. For the last 40 years during my working career, I've always found time to volunteer for many boards and foundations. I've worked with a lot of different segments of the community, from economic development to helping the homeless, to be able to help the people enjoy and enrich their lives throughout Tuscarawas County. I'm retired from a local manufacturer, and I ran a medium-sized team of approximately 9 people. We were responsible for that product all the way from ordering of materials. I was responsible for the managing of the team, doing budgets, sales, projections, warranty, and also was responsible for the licensing and the recording of certain things to make sure that the products were met to code. I feel that that knowledge will help me as a county commissioner. I think that it's imperative that you have to have a strong business mind and background, especially with a $30 million budget and almost 400 employees in the county. So I think that will be a strong point that I can bring to the office. My goal is to be a full-time county commissioner. I'll be there 5 days a week with an open door policy. I think it's very important that the residents of Tuscarawas County need to be listened to. Things need to get done. And I'm the person that I think that can achieve that by working with the team that is already in place at the county level. We have a lot of great employees with a lot of years service of Tuscarawas County, and I think that I will be a great fit for them. I would like to say that I'm a very honest and open person, a leader. I value communication and out-of-the-box thinking. There are a couple of things that I would like to achieve as a county commissioner. First of all, economic development. We constantly have to have new job development. We also have retention of existing jobs. It's very important for the community to grow. If we have a base of residents that are highly trained, highly paid, and they work for the betterment of the community all around. I think that with economic growth comes new jobs, retention, and also the expansion of the tax base based upon with those new jobs. The other thing is, I really think that it is important that I form a task force for housing. We need to look at all types of housing that are needed. We need to see if we can do apartments, condominiums, townhouses, and single-family homes, and also work as a team to make sure that we have economic pricing. We also have financing available, and also community development throughout Tuscarawas County. The other thing is the internet and broadband. I think it's very important that we bring that to the rural residents of Tuscarawas County, because it's dependent upon by the farmers, the people working from home. There's also many people that need it for education, and especially our children. For example, a school day or homeschoolers. The other thing that I think is that we need to work with the Tuscarawas County Regional Technology Park to finish developing that. That was started many years ago. We need to get that filled and get it finished. The other thing that I would like to say is Tuscarawas County cherishes the sense of community, natural environment, and rural characteristic. My vision is to preserve that character while promoting economic growth and job development while never losing the sight of the quality of life. As a trusted steward of Tuscarawas County's future, I commit to delivering the services that will improve lives, reflect our values, and preserve our unique quality of life for today and always.
Kent, thank you so very much. We really appreciate it. That was excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next candidate is Joe Reinhardt. Joe, go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Joe Reinhardt. I'm a resident of Bolivar, Ohio. My name is Joe Reinhardt. I'm a resident of Bolivar, Ohio. I'm running for the House of Representatives, 51st District, which includes Tuscarawas County and 17 precincts of southwestern Stark County. When I first started, well, a little about myself. I was a Marine during the evacuation of Vietnam. That was my 18th birthday present from Uncle Sam. And then my last 9 months in the service, during that period I was a guard for the Supreme Judge of Saigon. And then my last 9 months I spent as a chaplain's clerk for Lieutenant John L. Fitzgerald, who turned out to be President Kennedy's first cousin. I wasn't allowed to discuss it until I was released from active duty, but I was pretty proud of it, and no one's had to thank me for my service since, because it had never happened to me had I not gone in enlisted. When I went to Kent State on the GI Bill, which my father of World War II also did, and my stepfather was a Korean, my father-in-law was a Korean vet. He also went through and got his doctoral degree and became a finance professor at Kent State main campus on the Korean GI Bill, and they ended it right after I got through, so I wanted to utilize that. And when I was in Jimmy Carter, the gas energy crisis occurred. So I was 19 years old at the time, and essentially a week before, we were concerned about deadlines on whether or not we were all going to have to reapply for, because the break to convert from gas to coal was 39 days, and there was a GI Bill limit that any break over 30 days, you had to go through and reapply. And anyhow, to make a long story short, I made a phone call to the White House, told my story, our story, for 4 hours, and that led to John Glenn and Congressman Cyberman. Ultimately led to President Carter signing an executive order. They presented that executive order the following day at Kent, and that's how I was elected the last president of the Vietnam Veterans Association at Kent State University. And that was something that I've kind of followed along and been proud of throughout the course of my life. I learned that a person can make a difference if he finds a way to overcome the obstacle. In my case, I went and found someone who's willing to pay for that phone call. Anyhow, what got me interested, I spent a lifetime of public service, and my family was in the cemetery business. So I spent 30 years in that on my father's board. In the early days of the internet, I was involved in data communications to where I became one of the early internet providers out of Portage County. And through that, also spent 30 years doing that. I had experience of running a socially conscious company. Was able to provide access 3 school districts without ever charging them a dime as a result of the Communications Act of '96, which I had an opportunity to lobby for in Washington. And then I also sat on the spam legislation committee for Ohio's first spam law, House Bill 383, Kathleen Welcher of Lorraine. And so when I decided, I knew I had some of that traditional experience that I can bring to the table. And I saw the issues going on with First Energy, Hilliard, and the fact that it had been unopposed the previous several elections. Felt initially obligated to give my Democrat peers a voice, and no one's going to stand up. I might as well go on the state level as make a choice. So that's what got me going. As I proceed, and this is my first time, and I've learned a lot in the process. My interests are healthcare. I think the voters spoke a year ago. I believe the doctors should be liaison with the voters and citizens, and the politicians should not be in the doctor's office. I'm interested in the environment, public water and land. I'm interested in the right to vote. I think we should make it easier to vote, not harder. And fundamentally believe in protecting the Constitution. And lastly, as far as issues that are dear to me, there's 2. One is rent controls for seniors, and the other is I'm adamantly against vouchers for schools. I don't believe that taxpayers should fund public schools or private schools. And so that's fundamentally my position's platform.
Thank you, Joe, very much.
I have
Oh,
4
go ahead.
endorsements from unions
Yes.
as far as working with and I also have the Sierra Club and the Ohio Environmental Action Fund. Those environmental ones I'm particularly proud of because I'm involved in
Absolutely.
bitter projects, things, whether I'm elected or not.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're going to come around this side, and we're going to start with,
Can I stand?
yeah, of course, Mr. Dave DiDonato, because I know Dave, and he'd want to stand.
Can I?
You can-
They're over here.
You can talk to wherever, you can
Okay,
go wherever,
sure.
and we will get you on
All right, thank you.
the phone.
Well, I'm Dave DiDonato, and for those of you that don't know me, but I think there's probably nobody here now. It doesn't. I actually grew up right in these streets right here. My dad worked at the post office right across the street. And just a funny quick story, I was serving a morning mass and I was walking by and I went to see my dad. So I was standing outside, jumping up and down, waving, trying to get his attention, and the next thing I know, a police car came over. I was like in the 7th grade and he pulled me over and started questioning me intensely about what I was doing back there. So that was my my cue to never do that again. But it was great growing up in Yorksville and Denison. We rode our bikes past here, and I'm a long time Tuscarawas County resident. And I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I graduated from Denison St. Mary's, and I went on to Kent State Branch and then to Akron University. And it was at Kent State Branch when I met my wife, Jeannie Vaughn DiDonato, who's from a Catholic family that had 14 kids in their family. I married her and had 4 kids, 2 boys, Mike and Armin, on either end, and 2 girls, Heather and Laura, in between. And I taught at Indian Valley for years, 31 years. I was a high school English teacher. I was a high school head football coach and a high school head baseball coach. And I also coached basketball, and even one year I did girls track, just because the girl got sick and I filled in. But anyway, that all served to help me in this position that I'm running for. I was going to run for this office. Well, I wasn't planning on it, but when it came up to me, the meeting, they proposed it to me, and I'm like, what's a recorder? What's a recorder do? And believe it or not, I get that question all the time. So I had to, the frustrating thing for me was, I was used to, as a teacher, having all that material in my head and filling their heads with some of that. I knew everything about my subject. I made sure I did that, same as coaching. Here, it's like the opposite. The women that work there right now probably are going to have to educate me for a while, but here's my experience how it's going to help them. I was an athletic director. I was a high school principal. In a Central Catholic, where I served as high school principal for 6 years, you are everything. So I had to learn to file, index, organize. So I had to be able to, boom, pull those files up when I needed them. I couldn't, if I had a parent in there, we were talking about discussing their kid, I had to be able to get their kids' files and not have to wonder where they're at. So that's kind of what the job is as a recorder. You have to be able to index, you have to be able to file, you have to pull their deeds up, the property deeds, for lawyers when they come in. And that is, I know it doesn't seem like much, but I'm telling you, there's a lot to it. I was an athletic director through COVID, and nothing prepared me more to do this job than dealing with COVID regulations and having everything on file. And we were responsible for not just the kids' physicals, but in games, everything had to be just so. When you got evaluated, and if you didn't have a good evaluation, there's that pressure. So what I do, and what I'm planning on doing, and it took me a while. I didn't know this right away. I had to learn. I ended up in coaching and teaching, making up a master plan. And I went through in my off season, listed everything that I wanted to teach, everything that I wanted to coach, everything. I just laid it all out. Then I would group it. And then as an English teacher, what I did is I broke every week down, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, what we were going to do. In coaching, especially in baseball, I had it all laid out. Day 1, here's what we're going to practice. And I had made a handbook up, and here's a page number the thing's on. I have to operate that way. I can't operate off the top of my head. So my first goal is to get myself straightened out on what do I want to do here, and draw on Lori Smith, who's just a super job. 40 years as the recorder. And I'll lean on her, and I'll also talk with the women. I got to lay it all out and build a program that I can operate under, where I can know this is when I'm going to do this and this and this. But right now, I don't know that. I will learn. I will tell you this. I will know it, and you'll be proud of it when I'm done. But right now, I will rely on them should I win the election. The other thing is that anything with background religiously, we're both Catholics. She's a great Catholic, much more than me. But I'll tell you what I do. I do the screens for the church, and I put up the hymns and the prayers, and I do that every week for both masses. And only the Catholic Church would do this, have Saturday Mass different from Sunday Mass, So I have to, it makes me have to spend a lot more time to do two. It'd be nice to have all the hymns the same, but it's not. And I do that for the priests up there. And but if I'm elected, that's what I'm hoping to do, hoping to bring to Tuscarawas County.
Our last candidate to join us this evening. Sorry. Is Doug Bachman. Doug, thank you.
My name is Doug Bachman. I'm running for Tuscarawas County Engineer. I was appointed to be the county engineer almost exactly a year ago. Prior to being appointed Tuscarawas County Engineer, I served as Harrison County Engineer for 5 years and was the assistant engineer in Harrison County 3 years prior to that. I left Harrison County to be able to come back to the county I grew up in. I grew up in New Philadelphia. My wife and I both graduated from Tuscarawas Central Catholic, and I guess we wanted to serve the community that we grew up in and be able to raise our kids here too, because it was a great experience for us. And I guess unlike everybody else, I don't have really much to say. I appreciate the League of Women Voters hosting this event, and I just hope you'll vote for me in November.
Thank you, Doug, very much. I appreciate it. Well, that wraps it up for our Meet the Candidate night. You can see the 4 individuals who decided to join us, and we truly appreciate them coming out on a rainy evening to share a little bit about themselves and why they're running for the offices that they've chosen. The other thing I'd like to point out, again, put another plug in for our Meet the Candidate night next week, October 1st, from 6 to 7 p.m. at First Presbyterian Church and in New Philadelphia, Ohio. And also, yes, on issue 1. Please remember, we want the citizens, not the politicians, to draw the district lines. So please vote yes on issue 1. And if you would like more information about that, just look for citizensnotpoliticians.org. Just Google that and you'll find the information. Thank you very much.